First of all, let me just say this. I haven't had a video in a while. Couple of reasons for that. One is I've been getting really frustrated with YouTube and also the media companies because they're really abusing fair use. I should be able to give you a 5 or 6 second clip, a video clip, and break it down. I try to do that with, I think the last video I did was with Tessman's first goal over in League One, and it kept getting blocked. I wasn't allowed to put the video up because I don't know, I don't remember if it was Fox or whatever, but they just basically have a system up and they tell YouTube, no, can't do it. And YouTube, of course, complies. And, what am I going to do about it? Right. So that's one. And two, I don't know if you can tell, but my allergies have been as bad as they have ever been in my entire life. Absolutely exhausting, and my eyes won't stop watering. And anyway, welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate the support. So we've got less than a year to go for the World Cup. And so I thought this was interesting. I hesitated on doing this because it involves the US government, which means, of course, Donald Trump. So a lot of people are going to have views one way or the other. But this really isn't about Donald Trump specifically. It's about the US and the president. But even more importantly, what I think is kind of wild is FIFA's reaction. Okay. So let's dig into this because it's something to watch. We have to see if this is going to be something that becomes a problem later on because we all know something like a World Cup or even a Super Bowl or a major concert. It takes a lot of planning ahead of time. There's a lot involved. The Olympics, of course, maybe be the biggest incident of that, although the World Cup probably up there as well. They might be the two biggest in terms of that type of logistics and planning and doing things ahead of time. Security, like everything. People getting places to stay, the whole 9 yards. So I kind of get FIFA being like, hey, well, wait a minute, at a certain point we can't do stuff like that, but their reaction is a little bit over the top. And I'm also going to go back to a recent World Cup, which makes it interesting as well. It says here, FIFA will not move World Cup matches despite President Trump's threats to take them away from cities he deems not safe, like Seattle and San Francisco. Football is bigger than them, and football will survive their regime. Interesting use of words and government. So I think this is wild on a couple of for a couple of reasons. But let me dig into this a little more, and we're going to get back to that. They says that FIFA has reaffirmed that it is sticking with its host city plans first established in 2022, and any decisions to change would remain with FIFA. Specific games were assigned in February of 24. We of course have the finals here in New Jersey. So that's gonna be kind of wild. Unfortunately, it's in North Jersey, which is like an entirely different country from South Jersey. Awful place, North Jersey, South Jersey. Thumbs up. Um, so, like it says here, any movement at this point would introduce a lengthy series of logistical and legal complications. The situation grows more complex as FIFA, wherever it holds tournaments, relies on local and national governments for support on matters such as security and visa processing, right? So that's interesting as well. There are things that can be done. It's FIFA's tournament, FIFA's jurisdiction. FIFA makes those decisions, says Victor Montagliani, the organization's vice president, during a conference in London. With all due respect to current world leaders, football is bigger than them, and football will survive their regime and their government and their slogans. That's the beauty of our game, that it is bigger than any individual and bigger than any country. This is some wild stuff, folks. So take the US out of it. We are talking about a sports organization, okay? A sports organization. And as we all know, I mean, this goes without question. I don't hear anyone dispute this. Probably the most corrupt sports organization in the world. FIFA is 100% corrupt. We all know it. Like they said, they rely on these governments. FIFA does not have its own country, folks. Okay. They have to go play in other people's countries for all of their games, international games, whatever it is, or even leagues, right? I mean, English Premier League is in England, and ultimately the decision of whether that continues is England's. And the one thing I would add to this is kind of wild is the 2022 World Cup was in Qatar. Now, we all know soccer or football in recent years has been very outspoken against certain things, and I'm not saying that's bad. But then miraculously, when the World Cup went to Qatar, all of that stopped. Certain relationships that are non-traditional, shall we say, are actually illegal in Qatar, among other things. We won't get into women's rights and all that. And yet FIFA was 100% silent on that. They didn't have anything to say about Qatar. And, hey, this is our tournament. All of the players decided that politics was no longer their place. So it's kind of interesting that they're picking and choosing where to make these kinds of statements because they probably believe that they have the United States itself on their side, and of course, all the countries that don't like Trump on their side. But like I said, the reason I'm pointing this out is the president is, regardless of the president. Now, I don't know that it would actually help the current president if he actually got into this and tried to take things away because it would be an absolute nightmare. Could you imagine the US getting the World Cup and then you have a president actually, getting into a basically a standoff, who's going to blink first type of thing and saying, "Hey, no, we did all this planning, we did all these things, these cities have done all these things to prepare for all the games, and now we're going to take them away." Last thing I will say is should have been thought ahead of time. There are in the U.S. There are cities that are a lot more dangerous than others, and that probably should have been taken into consideration beyond just facilities for the tournament. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. So we got to keep an eye on this because who knows, right? You don't that's what's crazy about all negotiating with Trump. You have no idea what he's actually going to follow through with, or if something's just a negotiating tack to get something else that he wants. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, especially with that response from FIFA and talking about how we'll outlast governments and regimes and all that. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate it. Thanks for checking out the video. Do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. I really want to get build momentum and get this thing going before we get into the World Cup next year. So we've got a viable channel, have some fun, do some live streaming and chats and stuff like that. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Do appreciate it. Go have an incredible day. I will talk to you later.